It's without question that the United States is full of historic rail companies that have been long gone. One of my personal favorites is the Texas and Pacific. The TNP had an impressive locomotive roster, especially steam, but like most railroads, only a handful of steam locomotives managed to escape the scrapper's torch. In today's video, we'll have an overview of the 3 surviving steam locomotives from the TNP. Without any surprise, all 3 survivors still remain in the Lone Star State of Texas. We'll start off by the former Texas Pacific station, which now serves as a stop for Amtrak's Eagle, which is named after the famous passenger train ran by both the TNP and Mopac. On display is our first TNP survivor, Texas Pacific number 400. 400 is a 282 Mikado built by Baldwin in 1915. It was originally constructed for the Fort Worth and Denver as number 410. Sometime in the early 40s, the Mikado was heavily modified to fit in with modern standards of the time. It wouldn't find itself among the TP roster until 1958, which was fairly late for a larger railroad to acquire steam. After 5 years with the Texas Pacific, the locomotive had a severe mechanical breakdown. This breakdown was seen as a waste of money to repair, so Texas Pacific retired the 400 in 1963. After retirement, it would stay on display in Marshall. Just a few years ago, the 400 received a cosmetic restoration and has since sat quietly watching modern freights on the Union Pacific roll by. The next 2 survivors are on the side of the Texas State Railroad. Out of the TP pair, we'll start with number 316. The 316 was built by the Cook Locomotive Works in 1901 in New Jersey. This makes it the oldest locomotive in the TSR collection and the oldest Texas Pacific survivor. It is one of 66 D9 class 460 10-wheelers built for Texas Pacific. It served the TNP faithfully for 48 years before it was sold to a TP subsidiary known as the Paris and Mount Pleasant. Just 2 years later, in 1951, it was donated to the city of Abilene. It sat displayed until 1974, when the Texas State Railroad acquired the 10-wheeler, where it would serve as number 201. It would sport its Texas State appearance until 2012, when TSR brought back its original Texas Pacific number and look. After running the 2012 and 2013 steam season, it went down thanks to a boiler issue. As of 2020, 316 sits among the other steamers in the Hall of Giants, awaiting for a possible restoration in the coming years. The third and final Texas Pacific survivor is the Texas Icon number 610. 610 is the largest and most modern of the trio of the 3 survivors. In 1927, 610 rolled out of the Lima Locomotive Works among its sisters. The Texan workhorse is a 210-4 Texas-type locomotive that falls into the I-1 class. After retiring from freight service, 610 would be selected to haul the American Freedom Train and was leased to the Southern Railway for excursion services. For a more detailed history on the 610, be sure to check out my video titled A Texan Treasure, Texas and Pacific number 610. I'll leave a link down below in the description for you to watch that video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video on the surviving Texas Pacific steam fleet. As always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.